Hello, friends. I'm so excited to talk to you today about my experience with making money in finance and how you can do the same. I started in finance about a year ago, and since then, I've made about $20,000 just on the side, working spare time, part time, while also working other jobs and being a stay-at-home single mom of a 5-year-old. So, if I can do this, you can do this. All right, so let's jump in. Okay, so first of all, why watch this video, right? So maybe you want to make some extra income. Maybe you want to achieve financial freedom. Maybe you love new business opportunities and you're just looking for a new one or just want to see what's out there, right? Or maybe you want to just improve your life in all areas, right? Whether it's family, your faith, right? Fitness, finance, and fun, because obviously we want to have fun along the journey, right? Because it just makes life better. Okay, so a little bit about me. I'm Kiana, and I'm a single mom living in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, with my 5-year-old daughter. I'm a homeowner, and after a very emotional separation, divorce, and job layoff, only 1 month after buying my house in 2023, I knew something needed to change, right? I really wanted to make sure that I wasn't burning out at both ends, trying to, take care of my daughter and making sure she has everything she needs, not just everything she wants, right? Everything she needs. That's really important to me. I want to make sure she has winter clothes. I want to make sure she has, the best toothbrush, the best, just things that she needs, right? Boots for winter, the best food, the best vitamins, like everything that she needs to thrive, and also a very happy home. I wanted to make sure she had a happy home here at the house, right? So here's the truth, right? There's only so much someone can do to cut back on spending, right? To me, that was not the dream. I didn't want to be, cutting out the nice vitamins I want to get my 5-year-old. Just because I couldn't afford it, I wanted to make enough to kind of cover that gap and make sure that all of those things that I want for her and that I know that she needs and could use to have a thriving, wonderful life, like that she can still have those and I don't have to cut them out, right? So that was kind of my thought process right before I was, offered this opportunity. So, how did I change my situation, right? So, in late 2023, I was extended the opportunity to work as a financial professional and strategist and a very special type of affiliate for some of the best known Fortune 500 financial companies in the world. So, when I say Fortune 500 financial companies, I'm talking about companies like Prudential, right? Mutual of Omaha, Ethos, right? Some of these amazing companies out there that help people with different financial strategies. And so I underwent a couple weeks of studying, got a simple state license, and within a couple of weeks of getting that license, I had my very first affiliate commission paycheck of over $1,200 come in. And in my head, I was like, when I first started, the license was really simple to get, right? And I had to get a couple other certifications. It really wasn't that hard. It wasn't like going back to school. Yeah, I had to study for a test and I hadn't done that in a long time, but it was pretty simple overall. And the fact that my first paycheck was over $1,200, I was like, you know what? Let me actually put the effort in with this and see where it takes me. Because if I could make this much money in such a short time, I didn't have to spend a whole year trying to figure out like how to get a blog monetized, how to get my YouTube monetized, how to sell my art. I'm also an artist on the side, right? I wanted to just follow through with this to see where it took me. So since then, and although I had like so much to learn, and even though I was still in training, I was making paychecks here and there of over $1,000, which was amazing, right? This was one screenshot from a deposit paycheck that I made that was almost 4 grand, right? Some of my paychecks have been very low, some of them have been pretty high. It just depends on kind of what I've been doing and also the amount of work that I put into it because it technically is like running your own business. So to date, since, January of last year, I've brought in over $20,000 since starting. So not bad, right? Especially because I've been in training for much of that time. And right, whenever you're in an industry like finance or real estate, you never stop learning really. But for this to be in year one after, not even having to go to school for a degree in this, and I'm on track to make 6 figures this year, like this is really good. And so I'm just sharing this with you guys because I want you to know, I'm just a regular person, right? I'm someone who, I walk my daughter to school. I like to get a coffee now and then. I'm not living a lavish lifestyle. I have a car that has wheels that need to be replaced. I have a house that's 100 years old and it's got a lot of issues, right? I'm just a regular person. So if I can do this, I know that you can do this too, right? Okay, so you might be asking, like, how is this even possible? How is I making this much money in year one? And can I get in on this? And I want you to know too, you could make way more than this in year one. But here's the thing for me, I was working two other jobs and I'm also, a single stay-at-home mom. So I was also parenting and having to deal with all of that. And, so I didn't have a ton of time to put into this. So for someone who might have more time, you could just blow this out of the water. And also, you might be asking, can I get in on this? And the answer to that is it definitely depends. So, almost anyone based in the US could achieve the same kind of financial success that I have had working in financial services. The first step, though, is finding a financial brokerage company that's willing to train you and will allow you to make money while you're training. Okay. And so there are a lot of these companies out there. The one that I ended up going with is called Global Financial Impact. And the reason I went with them is because the person who, showed me the opportunity, we went to the same school, we had the same mentors. I trusted him. I really loved the mission, right? It wasn't all about sales, it was more about, hey, we're here to help people. And I really liked that. And so got in on it because I trusted this individual and that has actually paid off dividends. So I'm very, very excited to be partnering with them. So a little bit about GFI, Global Financial Impact, right? What is their mission? So their whole mission is to inspire families to dream again when it comes to their finances. And the reason why is because when we think about finances and money, for a lot of us, it's a point of stress, right? Even rich people have issues with money, right? They need advisors and all these people to come up with solutions and help them with managing that, right? Money is a pain point for a lot of people. And so our whole mission is that we sit down with folks and we give them financial literacy first so that they can feel empowered about the decisions that they're going to make with their money because they understand how it works. I know for me, I never understood how money worked. My parents never showed me anything, right? I saw my mom paying bills over the phone or writing a check every once in a while, but that was about it. They never showed me how to do that. They never talked to me about the dangers of using credit cards without, knowing. And I remember getting my first credit card in college. There was a Discover table just set up outside the student union. And I signed up for a credit card because I was like, hey, I need money for books. And my family, it comes from absolutely nothing. There was one year my dad made $16,000 and that was for a family of six people. And so we lived extremely frugally, often went hungry. And they didn't understand how money worked. So how are they supposed to teach me? Right. And I remember getting that first credit card and realizing, oh crap, eventually, like once all this money was put on it, that the interest rate was super high and it was making that debt compound really fast. I had no concept of what that was. And so coming in to teach people even basic concepts about how money works, how interest rates work, all of that is really crucial to helping them make decisions about what they're going to do with their money. Right. So, a little bit about our vision. Our vision is to empower 100 million families to achieve financial independence, help more people become millionaires than any other company, and become the largest financial leadership movement in the industry. I do think we're on track, right? We have about 30,000 plus agents who work for GFI. And when I say work for GFI, really what we're doing is we're partnering with this platform to give us access to these bigger financial institutions like Prudential and Mutual of Omaha and some of these, big names, right? And so that's really what they do is give us that access to these companies. And they also give us world-class training. And because they are partnered with these companies directly, those companies come and train us every week. And so I can sit in on trainings directly from the people who work at Prudential to tell me about their products and services so that I can bring that to my clients, right? So a little bit about the credibility behind the company. And this is another reason why I decided to partner with them. They're partnered with Ethos, which is a tech platform backed by some of the largest venture capitalist firms in the world, like Sequoia Capital and SoftBank, who are worth over $185 billion combined. If you don't know who Sequoia Capital is, definitely look them up. They've backed companies like Uber, Netflix, and brought those companies public. They're helping us go public too, which is really exciting. And so because that foundation is really solid, I thought, hey, this company is one to partner with, right? And one thing that's not on this slide is that, when you reach a certain level within the company, you also get equity within the company when when the company is going to go public. And so I was really excited about that. Founders have over 80 plus years of combined experience in the industry, and we partner with more than 25 different Fortune 500 financial and insurance companies with experience dating back to 1848. Some of these companies have been around for, decades and decades, right? They're, they're partnering with us because they trust us, right? They trust GFI, which is exciting. We also lead the industry in something called persistency and client retention. So, what that means is when someone sits down with us and they need help with financial, they have financial questions, they need a different financial strategy, they want a financial roadmap for long term financial health, whatever it might be. They are our clients for life and they do not need to pay us a single dime because those companies pay us very well out of their marketing budgets. We're also licensed in all 50 states, Puerto Rico, Canada, the Virgin Islands, and many other countries around the globe. We are going global, which is part of the reason why global is in the title of the company, right? Okay, so these are some of the companies that we partner with, just a few of them. I'm sure that you recognize some of them, but here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. These companies are great, but typically they're not calling people who make under $100,000, right? Regular people, right? And it's not that these companies are bad, it's that they want clients who have buying power, who might make a lot more money. So they have a lot more money to put into certain accounts. And so we want to bridge that gap to make sure that the resources, the accounts, the education that these companies provide, that we can bring that same level of assistance to people who might not make a ton of money, right? Okay, so the other reason why our mission is to inspire families to dream again when it comes to money is because the current way of doing things is not working. Okay, 182,100 is the average retirement account balance for ages 60 to 69 years old. Just think about that for a second, right? How long would that last you and your family if you retired right now? Okay, I know for me, I need to make at least $75,000 a year in order for me and my daughter to be comfortable. Okay, that would last like 2.5 years for me. That's it, right? There might be other people out there who are living extremely frugally, and it might last a little bit longer, but it's definitely not going to last you, 40 years. If you retire at age 65 and or 60 and you last till age 100, right? That's a whole 40 years that you need money coming in, right? And a lot of people just aren't saving enough and they're going to outlive their money. Okay, so big problem there. 40% of divorces are due to financial problems. 60% of Americans will get diagnosed with an illness, with one of the leading causes being attributed to financial stress. Okay, this comes back to, life insurance is super important because nowadays we have life insurance that comes with something called living benefits, where if you get cancer or another critical illness, right, or chronic illness, you can actually use the death benefit early while you're still alive. Okay. And so putting things in place to kind of mitigate what's going on in our lives is really important. 63% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and 68% of Americans say they are not on track to retire. And there's so many more statistics out there, but a lot of them come back to the fact that most Americans have never made a financial plan before. And so that's what I do with this company in financial services. I sit down with people, I give them financial literacy, and then, once we go through that training and that education, then building a financial plan for them that's going to stay with them throughout their life, that can change over time, that we can make sure to edit and change like as, their life goes on. And it's very, very powerful to have something like that in place. So for a second here, I just want to talk about, whether you like Bernie or not. He did this study about the retirement crisis in America, right? And the numbers are insane. And this is another reason why we're doing what we do, right? Nearly half, 44% of all American households with members aged 55 to 64 have no savings at all and will have to rely entirely on Social Security, which, by the way, is poised to run out very soon, right? Nearly 17 million older Americans aged 65 and up are financially insecure, below 200% of poverty. 17 million people. Okay. And so this is huge, right? And it's not getting better, right? So down here, it talks about how workers don't have a lot of really good ways to save for retirement. That's not true. It's mostly that they're not getting the best options from their employers, and they don't necessarily have the education or knowledge to go and find something private for themselves, right? And so this is true, right? It's not easy for them to save regularly out of their paycheck directly through, what their employer is offering them. Okay, and there's other articles out there, right? This one in the New York Times was the 401k a mistake, right? I would just, implore you to do some research on these different topics, right? And in this specific article, right, it talks about pensions. Pensions still exist, but mainly for unionized jobs. In the private sector, they have largely been replaced by 401ks, which came along in the early 1980s. And millions of private sector employees lack access to workplace retirement plans. Many people who have 401ks put little, if any, money into their accounts. In 2017, 49% of Americans ages 55 to 66 had no personal retirement savings at all. So this is what we're trying to work against and help people with, right? And so, when people are not putting enough in their 401ks, they're not saving enough for retirement, they don't have life insurance, they don't have a will and trust, they don't have all these things in place, it can cause so much strife in a family, right? And so we're definitely trying to make this better. There's also a health crisis in America, right? I'm not going to go over every single one of these statistics here, but chronic illness is huge. Cardiovascular disease, 950,000 people in the U.S. die from that every year. The death rate is higher. Mental health is just a huge issue. And so this is also contributed to by not having healthy finances, right? Okay, so there's a few rules of money that we always go over with people who either come into the business with us or those who just want to learn more about, financial literacy and just how money works. So the first is the rule of 72. Albert Einstein was a huge fan of this specific rule. He called it the eighth wonder of the world. And it basically tells us how fast money can double. So if you take the interest rate in that account, you're going to see how fast it will double. So at 1%, it's going to double every 72 years. Now, most people, they just put their money into a regular checking or savings account. Now, I want to challenge you, go and look at your checking account or your savings account What is it growing at, right? I know mine is embarrassing. It's like 0.003, right? It's definitely not going to go anywhere anytime soon. So 72 years, not super exciting. You put $10,000 in there at age 29, it's not going to double till you're 101, right? At 4%, it's going to double every 18 years, 6% every 12 years, and 12% every 6 years. Okay, so just ask yourself this, right? How would you feel if your money was working harder for you than you work at your job, right? Where your money's compounding so fast that you're not going to have to worry about anything for retirement, right? So we want to make sure people are putting their retirement money or long-term financial planning funds into places where they're going to double every 12 or every 6 years, right? And then there's how money grows, right? So there's fixed, variable, and indexed. Fixed, right? It's just like your regular bank account. You put that money in there. It's not, it's not going anywhere necessarily unless the bank fails, which has happened in the past, but isn't typical, right? So you just put it in there, and it is important to have that, right? Because you need access to your money, right? You need to be able to pay your monthly bills, that sort of thing. Variable is basically where you are directly investing in the stock market. So you see these ups and downs, right? Where you are basically taking advantage of all the gains, but also all of the losses, and there's no safety net. Okay. I always like to talk about 2008 here. Most people lost between 30 to 60% of their retirement funds because they had all of it in variable. Okay. So that's huge. Imagine retiring at age 65 and you've saved $500,000 and all of a sudden 50% of it is gone, right? So that's a big deal, right? So we want people to understand how these accounts work, not necessarily be afraid of them, right? But just understand how they work so that we can use them better and plan better, right? Indexed is a really interesting combination of the two, almost, where anytime the market gains, you're going to gain that interest rate. But anytime it goes below a certain level, usually 0%, it has a floor. So it's locked in and you're not going to lose anything because the stock market falls below that point. We especially love to help people who are closer to retirement with moving their funds into indexed. So it's still going to grow really well, but you're not going to have that risk of loss. And then there's how money gets taxed, right? So there's tax now. This is like brokerage accounts, savings accounts, mutual funds, bank CDs, right? Then there's tax later, 401k, 403b, IRA, SEP IRA, annuities, and pension plans. Tax later is super important because a lot of us have our money in 401ks, and it's important to understand that later when we pull that money out, we have to pay income tax on it. So if we're going to utilize that strategy, we have to plan for the taxes that we're going to have to pay to the IRS, right? And then there's tax advantaged, like executive bonus plans. That's something for business owners, cash accumulation and insurance policies, municipal bonds, and Roth IRAs, where later when you pull the funds out, you don't have to pay taxes. Okay. So my whole thing is we should diversify, but also understand how all these accounts work and just these general concepts, right? Okay, so here's what we do at Global Financial Impact, and this is what I do for clients, right? I help them with tax advantaged wealth accumulation strategies, asset protection, and qualified plan rollovers. That's something for people who might have left an old 401k behind at a previous job and they can't contribute to it anymore. It's just sitting there, fees are eating away at it. We can move it into a better account at absolutely no cost, right? You don't take a tax hit or anything like that. You just move it into a better place so it can grow really well. Maybe you can even continue contributing to it. College education fund plans for kids, debt management and consolidation, infinite banking and family banks. That's something very particular to, strategies that the Rockefellers used to build generational wealth. That's something that I've been trained to help people with. Life insurance, living benefits, final expense, estate and legacy planning. We even help people with wills and trusts, index growth, Roth IRAs, SEP IRAs, traditional IRAs, even just sitting down with clients and helping them understand how their current accounts work and what they're going to do for them in the future. Super important. Mortgage protection term and business owner strategies. Okay. We have a lot of business owners with tax savings. And we have a lot of CPAs on hand as well as lawyers who can help with some of these different concepts and understanding the strategies, right? So that's what we do, right? But here's kind of how to get into the business, right? And what the model is. So there's a hybrid business model, inspirational marketing plus financial services, where we're really trying to bring, this vision to people and this, positivity around money and this, empowerment around it. And then, of course, the financial services piece, and it really is a movement. So first we have, right, the financial services industry, which is the largest and most highly compensated industry in the world. It's bigger than real estate. It's bigger than retail. Then there's the technology. We have some of the most innovative and efficient technology in the industry. We actually have, technology that will show you exactly when your 401k money is going to run out if you start taking money from it at a certain time, if you start taking distributions. So we have the most amazing technology. We have a franchise type model like McDonald's and Starbucks, but better. And we have brokers and agents similar to real estate and mortgage. Okay. So there's 6 ways to get paid here. And every single, agency that you'll find out there, you get paid a little bit differently. This is just how it works at Global Financial Impact. We have personal income, agency income, expansion income, bonuses, recurring income, renewal income, stock options, and equity. Okay, so let's look at, what it would look like if you were just coming in and helping just a couple families per month with saving around $250 into some sort of plan, whether it's a college fund plan for kids, whether it's a retirement fund, whatever it is, right? And let's say you come in when you're first getting trained, you're at a 35% commission level, and it is commission based, right? And then once you've helped a few families, you go up to 45%. So at 45% for just helping 2 clients or 2 families a month, your personal income would look like around $2,700 a month, right? Not bad for just helping 2 families. And honestly, it's not a lot of work. I would say helping 2 families is probably around 5 to 6 hours of work or less. I've even helped families for 1 hour for a $4,000 paycheck. Okay. So very simple. Let's say you start gaining a little bit more traction within the business and you reach 60% marketing director level, right? Personally, I'm at 50%. I've been promoted twice, which is awesome. And let's say you're just helping 2 families a month save around $250 into some sort of account, right? And let's say you want to build a team and you want to build an agency. So this would just be like someone who starts a real estate agency and you have brokers and agents who come and work for you, and you are getting a cut or making extra on top of what they've made. Okay. Same situation. Okay. Let's say you start building a team, and let's say you have 4 people on your team, and each of them is also helping 4 families a month with saving $250 or more into some sort of account. Your total income would look more like $18,000 a month. Okay. This is what I'm on track to make because I already have a team of 6 people, which is super exciting. And so look at the personal income versus the agency override. Now, agency override, what that means is you're actually making money on top of what your agents make. Let's say they make a certain amount, you're making a certain percentage of that, but it's on top of what they've made. So you're not actually taking any money out of their pockets, which is amazing. Okay. Some people come into the industry and they don't want to build an agency. That's fine. They don't have to, but it definitely can help you reach some bigger financial goals if that's what you want to do, right? So let's talk about the cost to get into this industry, right? The average cost to open an insurance and financial franchise, traditional, let's say brick and mortar, right? Let's say you're starting a State Farm. Traditional, you're going to be paying between $100,000 to $250,000 to get that started. Okay. Here it costs $199. I'm not even kidding you. It's so cheap. Okay. This might change in the future, but right now, this is the cost. Okay. And what it covers is a background check because we are highly regulated by the government. Okay. We're in financial services. We have to comply with a lot of state rules and regulations. Okay. So you have to get a background check, and then it also covers the licensing study materials to actually get your license, right? And that is just the life insurance license. Although we do have people who work for us who also have their securities, they might also have their certified financial planner license. They might have all of these different certifications, and that's also great. If not, or if let's say you already have the license, right? This is just the startup fee, right? Okay, so some common questions. Where do we get our clients? Self-acquisition. We help provide you with leads once trained and equipped. We actually have a lead generation program, and then referrals, and then just regular lead gen. So we actually do have some opportunities to actually pay for lead generation if that's something that you want to do. Otherwise, we have this system that really works very well. How much time do you need? I would say 5 to 10 hours a week around your schedule. But the more time that you put in, the faster you're going to learn and the more clients you're going to get and the faster you're going to grow and make more money, right? Like I said, I made 20 grand in the past year from just doing this in my spare time. I would say 5 hours a week, maybe. How will you learn the information? So, phase one is getting licensed. If you already have that license, great. Phase two is we train you by having you shadow us and sit down and help families. And so that you can see exactly how we speak with families, how we go through the process. It's very, very simple, but you get to watch it happen and you get paid during that time as well. Phase three, you become independent and start meeting with clients on your own. And if you have an agency, you can start training others. So that's kind of how it works. Okay, guys. So I know that was a lot of information, but thank you for bearing with me. And yeah, I just wanted to, show you what I've been up to and kind of how I've been making money in this industry over the past year. I'm super excited to continue to build my team and train other agents. Right now, I actually have space to train 3 other people. So if you are interested in, getting into this industry, breaking into it, definitely set up a time with me below. I've dropped my calendar link in the notes, and I'd love to meet with you. We don't work with just anybody. We can't, unfortunately, work with people who have felonies, and we can't work with, anyone who's got a record, unfortunately. Or fortunately, sometimes it's a good thing. And then we also, we want to know that it's a good cultural fit, and that it's something that you would actually put the effort into because it's not easy, right? I've had to undergo hours and hours of training and really, make myself or put myself in a place where I'm very vulnerable because, I don't know or I didn't come from finance, right? I was just a regular person. I went to school for art history, for God's sake. Like, I did not come from this world. And so I had to learn all of that kind of, on my own and also with daily mentorship from the people who are, coaching me in this business. And the great thing is, right, the coaching and the mentorship is free, right? I don't have to pay for any of that. And I'm not going to lie, like I've paid for mentors before, I've paid for coaches. Thousands of dollars. I started a business back in 2020 that I paid 50 grand to start, and more than $16,000 of that went towards coaches and marketing training and all that. And I'm getting 10 times better training than what I got paying 16 grand here in GFI. And it just blows my mind that that is the case. So if you're interested in breaking into this industry, definitely, set up a time with me below, or you can leave a comment, ask some questions. I'll also drop my email if you want to send me an email. We can chat. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing great out there, and we'll talk next time. See you later.